Do you want to help your students understand the relevance of a 130-year-old short story? Pair it with a Billie Eilish song. Hello and welcome to Write With a Point. My name is Nate. I'm an educator turned curriculum designer. And this week I'm going to tell you why Billie Eilish's song, What Was I Made For, is the perfect pairing for Kate Chopin's short story, The Story of an Hour. If you haven't read Chopin's story, you absolutely should. At about 2 pages long, this tiny text moves along really quickly and it easily keeps students engaged. It's also a really great way to study things like foreshadowing and situational irony. The basic idea of the story is that a woman in the late 1800s gets the news that her husband has died in a train crash. She basically spends the rest of the story sort of reflecting on her life, her love, and her desires. Sound familiar? Not the train crash part, but the reflecting on love and desire. If so, it's probably because Eilish deals with similar things in her song, What Was I Made For? I mean, the title alone kind of gives it away, right? We're talking about things that make life meaningful. More than that, both texts deal with the female identity, a desire for individual and personal happiness, and the challenge of societal and personal constraints on both of those ideals. Just listen to these two lines side by side. First, a line from Chopin. She saw beyond that bitter moment a long procession of years to come that would belong to her absolutely. And now Eilish. Think I forgot how to be happy. Something I'm not, but something I can be, something I wait for, something I'm made for. Or take these two. Her fancy was running riot along those days ahead of her, spring days and summer days and all sorts of days that would be her own. She breathed a quick prayer that life might be long. And this one, I don't know how to feel, but I want to try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Can you hear the overlapping ideas? If the overlapping themes aren't enough, consider how both texts share an almost tragic undertone, one of unresolved longing and a hope yet unfulfilled. In Chopin's story, that longing ends tragically, albeit with a fair bit of irony. Eilish's song, while it doesn't end with her death, it doesn't leave her in the best place either, right? Even if there is hope for a better future. And students will get that. They'll connect with it. It's a current, relevant song, and it shows that the issues in 1894, when Chopin wrote her story, aren't all that different from issues today. If nothing else, you'll have their attention while you're playing Eilish's music video. It's the perfect chance for you to connect with your students, help them practice their visual analysis skills, work on comparing and contrasting themes, and enjoy yourself in the process. It's kind of got it all. I should also mention that I have a free no prep lesson plan that walks you through this lesson and activity in the description below. And if you don't want to look at that, the short version of it is that you basically read the story, you play the video, and then you have students make a Venn diagram that compares questions like what themes are similar or present in both texts, what's the tone of each piece, how do the characters in the story develop, what do they want, what are their desires, those kinds of things. You can even extend the lesson too by showing your students America Ferrera's iconic Barbie speech, right? The movie that Eilish's song was created for. Or you can bring in some historical context and talk about Elizabeth Cady Stanton's Declaration of Sentiments from the Seneca Falls Convention. Now, if you're wondering when to include this in your curriculum, I would definitely tell you to teach it on Valentine's Day. I think it's especially great for Valentine's Day because understood differently, the story is really actually about loving yourself, which I think is a valuable lesson for everyone to learn. If you don't want to teach it on Valentine's Day, that's totally fine too. Maybe add it to your next study of The Awakening, also by Chopin. You could add it to a study of Margaret Atwood's novel, The Handmaid's Tale. And of course, if you have other ideas about how and when to include this in your curriculum, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you. You all know the thing about liking and subscribing. That would mean a lot too. And with that, as Chopin says, go and drink the very elixir of life through an open window.